So we've looked at the lower three levels, and they're actually quite high and quite important. But imagine a person whose life is physically very fulfilled. They're not lost in the addictive stuff. They've got the material needs they need. Number two, they've got very strong relationships based on giving, wonderful, let's say, family, friends. They are contributing a lot of their time and money and whatever it is to charities and causes they care about and would give their life for. And yet, there's still something missing. What would that be? So in Jewish sources, we talk about this being the neshama, the soul of the soul, or the higher, the life point of the person. Or another word you might use for it is the tafkid, the role. The sense that every person in this world, more or less, has a unique role, something to contribute and offer the world that no one else quite can. Through the unique confluence of genetics and upbringing and so on, everybody might have something that no one else can quite offer the world. And this is not the same as just doing good. The difference in doing good and making a difference in the world, as an example, might be this. It might be the difference in the person who writes a check out to a charity versus the person who saw the problem in the first place and created the charity. The person who's campaigning to change the world. It's a very different level. One is doing something which almost anyone else could, and the other is really making a difference, affecting future generations because of a problem they saw and a solution that they're pursuing. It can be as big as global. It can be as small as local. It can actually be, by the way, some people get it just from building a family. There's many different ways to build something that seems to give a lasting future to make the world a better place. But each of us, no matter whether they operate on the global scale or local scale, have almost a voice inside us saying you're in this world so that you can do something for its future, that when you leave this world, it'll be a better place than when you came in at least one aspect, because you were in it. By the way, everybody I think deep inside knows a lot of what I'm saying here. Because if you imagine, you ask everybody, please go to long, healthy lives. But at some point in our life, we're not going to be here. And you ask everyone, imagine you could fast forward and write your epitaph, or write what they'll say about you. People never say, here lies James, here lies Sarah, drove a cool car and ate loads of steak, went on amazing holidays. That's not what they'd want to have written about themselves. Here lies James, here lies Sarah, here lies whoever, was a great, loving parent, child, sibling, friend, did so much good and made a difference. You see these levels, right? Exactly what we're talking about. Love, doing good, making a difference. And here there's a counterfeit. Most people are not thinking deeply about this. Most people do not fulfill this need. And they grab at a counterfeit. And the counterfeit here is power. Control. It feels like you're making a difference if you have power and control over people. And power and control can be the over-controlling boss, the over-controlling, the playground bully at school or at work. It can be a lot of things. At its worst, in human relationships, it can be abuse. And sometimes otherwise lovely, good, charitable people can be abusive because charity is fulfilling a lower need. Here what's unfulfilled is the desire to make a difference and become, say, seek power and control in the relationship. And that's not enough. It's addictive. It didn't fulfill. So more power, more control, until it becomes abusive, either verbally or physically violent or whatever. That's catastrophic. At a bigger level, it can be dictators or politicians in general who struggle to let go of power and want to pursue more of it. And in some cases will let their country be destroyed rather than let go of the addiction to power. If you think about the way that many careers and firms are structured, wealth in general at a lower level is about subsistence and having enough to live on. But at a certain level, wealth and career starts to be about the counterfeit of honor, the level below, and the counterfeit of power. More money means more honor and more power. It doesn't have to be. A person can pursue wealth in order to give to those they love, in order to do good, give lots of charity. Like I mentioned before, in Jewish teachings, 10% of our income and time that's available should be given. For those who are much wealthier, it can be up to 20%. And for those who are super wealthy, where they're not going to become impoverished by giving more, according to most, but not all opinions, they can give a lot more than that. But whatever it is, so, I know somebody, for example, who made a fair amount of money and asked the great rabbi, should they stop now to focus on spiritual life? And the rabbi said actually one of their ways to be spiritual can be through their talent in making money and giving it. And this person, I believe, takes pictures and things of the various charities they support to work. Let's not forget, most of work and career, you make money unless it's doing something illegal or feeding a counterfeit. You make it by giving people what they want, or maybe even what they need, by giving them service or giving them a goods or whatever it may be. So that's good. But more than that, the money you're accumulating can be about what are you going to give with it? What good can you do with it? It can be a very powerful attitude to have. And it can be about how to make a difference in the world as well. So that's an example where career can go into the counterfeit world, or it can go into the unique purpose in the world. But the stakes are getting very high. And the more we each think about what's my purpose, what difference can I make in the world, the more we tune into this and live very deep fulfillment of it. Now we're beginning to become less and less physical as we rise up. And in a minute, the next bit, we're going to look at the highest level, which in Judaism, not surprisingly, brings God into it. And that's going to be something that brings the divine and shifts the entire model. We're going to look at that soon. And before we do so, we can ask a very deep question on this whole model. We'll hopefully shed very deep light on everything here. But just to recap where we've gone so far, we spoke at the lowest level, the physical, biological needs versus the addictive counterfeits, the love based on giving, and really all the levels above are now based on giving. Love based on giving versus the free love infatuation, making it, caring, doing good in the world and caring about the world versus honor, and making a difference in the world versus trying to control the world. That's where we're at so far.